time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, XL, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the juice. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing.
We were close, and all that does is make me hungrier to get back to the top.
I know I've walked through the fire time and time again. The fire continues to burn.
If we're not talking about the Super Bowl, we're not talking about Philadelphia.
Philly is lit, man.
It's the best roster in football, and they had the best draft in football, and really it's not even close. Everybody they got is a difference maker.
Aren't you glad you played in Philadelphia?
Jalen Hurts still there? Yes, sir. That's all I got to say.
He's here to stay.
Money is nice. Championships are better.
You gotta forget about the past and that crazy today. Let's go! Respect is not given, it is earned, that dog. Whatever you got to do, let me get that.
I know everybody expects us to be Super Bowl champions in Philadelphia right now, and it's not going to happen being comfortable. I can guarantee you that.
The only person that can stop us is us.
That's the dog mentality right there. When that cage opens up, our teeth are snarling, we're drooling, we're ready, we're hungry, ready to hunt again.
And you know what underdog is? It's a hungry dog. You want to talk about a hungry dog?
Coach, I always say hungry dogs run fast. I ain't hungry. I'm starving for this.
Hey man, it's real simple. How do you want to be remembered? When we step out between the lines, I only want you to think about one thing. It's the same we think about every time we come out this. You on the D-line, you strike his ass. If you're on the O-line, you strike his ass. We make plays all night. We do because that's what the Eagles do. Damn, now 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
And that's the line right there. How do you want to be remembered? I just want to give credit to the Liberty line for that video at the end, the promo video. That shit was sick. So I wanted to add that to the end of today's intro. But that was a hell of an intro. So shout out to the Liberty line, guys. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 141. And if you saw about that intro, you already know what we're talking about. We're talking birds. I just want to welcome back into the podcast guest Rich Mitchell, returning guest. Rich, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yo, it's good to be here. Happy to be back talking some birds before week 1.
Of course, man. Of course. This I love hopping on the mic here. We literally talked about the Eagles about it was either 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we broke down the schedule and everything. So if you want to see that video, I think it was episode 138, 139. But tonight what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some final insights kind of going into the season, our thoughts. And we'll also preview week 1 this Sunday against the New England Patriots. I think it's at 4:25. So we'll talk about that. And then maybe just some media scrutiny that the Eagles have been getting. If you guys know, the Super Bowl hangover is a legitimate thing. Most teams who get there and lose. I think the last time someone had been back there, or maybe even won it, is like 50 years ago. I'm talking about like after they lose. So the Eagles are up against a tall task this year, but there's a lot of media scrutiny on this team. But we're here to prove to you that that shouldn't be the case. I'm going to be honest. The Eagles probably have the best roster in football. I'm going to be quite honest. Our depth is a little questionable at some of the positions, but if this team at full strength is absolutely, it's absolutely ferocious. George, what's up, man? Welcome,
How you
in.
doing, bro? Yeah, I'm back. I was gone for like 2 seconds. I heard you guys were saying, yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I like how you said it, that there is such thing as like a Super Bowl hangover, because it can't be in any sport. When you win something big, or if you lose, in our case, like how we lost this year, it can kind of affect you, but you can also, sometimes the runners up or the guys in second place can come back stronger, though, and sometimes win the next time around. But when you win, sometimes you get relaxed, and then that following September, the first game you might choke, or you might just, not have the best game in. But you don't want to start a season like with the attitude from last year, or I'm getting lazy now, or I won, because it all depends on also summer camps and how the guys have been treating it, between like those few months, off from like February to like the middle of summer. So you know what I'm saying? It comes down to attitude, also, and some players, have the mental is different than others, but we're a strong team. We're strong mentally. I think we have like some very solid guys, and we're just trying to rebuild this team with some of the drafts and all that. Draft teams. I bet I'm trying to do a lot at once here, guys.
It's all right. Yeah, no, I think the Eagles had a very strong draft too, with Nolan Smith and obviously Jalen Carter. And I stick to this, that I think Jalen Carter is the best pick of the draft. I'm gonna be quite honest. Like, I know I wanted him here, but outside of, most teams are gonna take a quarterback usually at the beginning of the draft anyway. That's usually how it goes. But if Jalen Carter didn't have the off the field stuff, I don't know he falls to us at 10. I'm gonna be honest. So he was able to fall to us, but I personally think here's the thing. There's a lot of comparisons to him out there. Now, he obviously, if he wants to be compared at this level, he's going to have to prove and put in this work. Obviously, it's coming into the league, but they're comparing him to like Aaron Donald, like this guy, like already. That's a fantastic comparison. He just, I think his talent is there. It's just obviously there's a number of factors that go into that. Health, practicing hard and stuff like that. Like, he actually has to, even with talent, you still have to put the work in. But is he capable? I think he definitely is. But I'm excited for this team. What are your guys' thoughts, man? I'm comfortable going into the season. I don't think I've ever felt as, I think it might be a scary thing sometimes too, but to think, because we always have something to criticize in Philly, I think most of the time. But this team looks fantastic. Like, I don't know. Like, this could be the strongest roster in football, and I think it is the strongest roster in football from top to bottom. Rich, what are your thoughts, kind of, as we're what, 3 days away from kickoff?
Yeah. So, for me, you can hear me okay, right? Everything's good with my audio. All right. Cool. So this is my thing, and I've said this many times on my channel. I'm comfortable with the team, and I know a lot of people and a lot of outside media sources, they pretty much try to talk about the losses
More than the wins.
this offseason. You know, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Javon Hargrave, things of that nature. Even Miles Sanders. I've even heard some people talk about that. Oh, they don't have Miles Sanders. They're not going to be the same. And it's like, man, like we have one of the best GMs in the NFL to where, you know, any holes that, even like any holes that have happened personnel wise, like he's plugged each hole with equal or better talent, in my opinion. In my opinion, a lot of people don't talk about or remember the fact that last season, Javon Hargrave couldn't stop run plays. He was great sacking and getting to the quarterback, but he couldn't stop run plays, and that's pretty vital, a pretty vital need. As you guys know, we're playing San Francisco 2023 season. And let me just be clear on exactly which week that is, because I wanna be clear about this. Week 13, we're playing San Francisco 49ers, okay? You got to know how to stop the run when you're playing the Eagles, else we're going to carve you up. I don't care who it is. I don't care, like, we're playing Bill Belichick and the Patriots. They're probably going to get carved up. I'm telling you this because Bill Belichick, as great as the defense is, they are not great with mobile quarterbacks. They're not great when they play Lamar Jackson. They get exposed. So for me, I think that if we start off early in the season and we start off hot, I think that we can finish, you know, on the I'd say in between 12 and 14 wins. That's my prediction. Um, I will say when you had said earlier that it's been a really long time since the team has went to the Super Bowl, lost, and then the next year came back and made it again. Um, that happened. That did happen with the New England Patriots when we beat them in 2018. The next season, they did actually make it back to the Super Bowl and they won that Super Bowl. So I'm just saying this not to not to call you out or anything or come at what you were saying. I'm saying this because I have the belief that our team is just as good, if not better, than that Patriots team. And I know people are going to be upset about this. We got to remember, Tom Brady was at the tail end of his prime when he came back and won the Super Bowl. So that speaks volumes about Tom Brady
Well,
and who he is.
he won it 2 years in his last 5, I believe. So that's not bad for a guy who's like 45 right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, and that speaks volumes about Tom Brady. Like, that's why he's called the GOAT, because you
Yep.
know he could be an old man and he'll still beat you off your breaks. And you know, I think we have nothing to worry about. I think people are, you know, these guys who they're, oh, we have Eagles have a new offensive coordinator, Eagles have a new defensive coordinator. You know, it's going to take some time to adapt. There's going to be growing pains. Well, for one, I say to those people, Jonathan Gannon has never beat a quarterback that's been good. Like he's never like, and when I say him, I'm talking about strictly him leading a defense as a coordinator. He has never done well against great quarterbacks. And so for me, and in my humble opinion, with the personnel that we have, I don't think it can get much worse than Jonathan Gannon as a coach. And then when it comes to offensive coordinator, I believe it's Brian Johnson. Moving forward with Jalen Hurts, he's known Jalen Hurts since he was like 4 years old. Like this guy, this guy has been pretty much the one who's the quarterback coach who's been writing up some of the QB plays and helping Hurts get adapted to throwing the ball. You think we're going to take a step backwards with the same guy who Hurts just took a jump forward with last year at throwing the ball? I think it's like absurd. If anything, our offense is going to throw more. We're going to carve you up from the air more. We're probably going to be better than we were last year, in my opinion. And not win loss ratio, because obviously our schedule is harder. But I do think that we're going to be a better team for it going into the playoffs.
Man, a lot to digest there, and some absolutely fantastic points. I'll start at the beginning. I'll start at the beginning with the media scrutiny with us losing Hargraves and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, because I think that's where you started it. And yeah, I've heard exactly the same thing. They focus more on what we've lost rather than what we've gained. And the only position that I think we got. It's it's big, but like I think they'll find ways to make it work. Miles Sanders. So we ran the ball, and it was majority. It went through Miles Sanders' hands last year. This year, we've kind of focused on a running back by committee scheme. That's how it looks, how it's set up, and that was how it was the year we won the Super Bowl too, with LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement. We had a running back by committee that year. So we got a guy in Swift that can run outside the tackles. We got a downhill runner in Penny. We obviously have Gainwell. He was our leading rusher in the playoffs last year. I think at the running back position, they're going to be fine. I actually like that, and that means the Eagles can carve you up with different backs and different type, like depending on how you want to run it. You want to run north-south? Do you want to run outside the tackles?
Different tactics.
And then when it comes to Hargrave, well, we weren't going to be able to pay him. Yeah, and we got Jalen Carter. You know what I mean? So we added Jalen Carter to the defensive front. You lose Hargraves, but you kind of fill that spot right there with Jalen Carter. So I honestly don't. And then it was huge that we were able to bring back both Bradbury and Slay on the defense. So how we bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, we probably can't bring back both of them. We probably bring back one or the other with Slay and Bradbury. Because C.J. Gardner-Johnson left, we're able to kind of sign them both. And on the offensive side, I think this offense is just ridiculously talented. We can carve you up so many ways. Like you said with New England, new offensive coordinator Brian Johnson, but like you said, he knows Hurts, he knows his playbook. I just think this talent alone is just we can carve you so many ways. We have the best offensive line in football. We got Jalen Hurts commanding the offense. We have a running back by committee, and then we obviously have the tight end position with Goddard, and then you got Brown, and you have Devontae Smith on the other side. We can carve you up so many ways. So no, that's important too. And yeah, I think with the Super Bowl hangover when I saw it, by the way, I think it was just excluding Brady. I don't know why. Like when I read that, it was like, I think it's just excluding Brady and the Patriots because they're like the outlier. They've been back-to-back. They've won Super Bowls back-to-back, and it's just they're obviously that dynasty with Brady is just that's something else. That's like an outlier. But you're right though. It's definitely possible to be, and it can be done. And if any team can do it, I think with the talent and the work ethic this team has, we can do it. Honestly, I like your prediction between 12 and 14 wins. That's where I'm at too. Looking at the schedule, I think it's between 12 and 14. We're very backloaded with the teams we got to play on the second half of the schedule, which is why I think the Eagles have to come out firing early. And even with the coordinators, with the Russ, with new defensive, Sean Desai on the defense, Brian Johnson on the offense, I think they're going to be okay. You obviously have Nick Sirianni still here. Jalen Hurts is commanding the offense. And then who's on the defense commanding? Nakobe Dean, right? I think they got Nakobe Dean commanding the defense for Desai on the other side. And I like Nakobe Dean. And from what I've heard, from like what you've seen, like from insiders on the Eagles, what they've said is he's very comfortable with the scheme that Desai is running. So Nakobe Dean's very comfortable with it. So apparently he's looked good. So I think this team's going to be okay. And I think, pending injuries, knock on wood, injuries happen. This team should, I really do think they can get back there and not just get back there, but win the whole thing. I'm breaking that down. Yeah. The safety spot could be questionable, but other than that, I mean, even the linebacker spot, they brought in Zach Cunningham. It was unfortunate that Myles Jack retired a week or two after we did pick him up. We picked up Cunningham and Myles Jack, but there's still, I mean, the trade deadline isn't here yet. Howie's probably going to try to make some other magic happen before this trade deadline happens. There's a lot of rumors out there right now, right? What are the rumors? Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Taylor from the Colts, but the Colts want too much for him, I think, right now. They're trying to get a first-round pick. You can't get a first-round pick for a running back. It's just the shelf life is too short. And I think the last team to give a first-round pick for a running back was the Colts. And it's to be honest, it's just not feasible. And then there's the other rumor. This was about a month ago. This came out. The Aaron Donald is not happy in LA. So there's a rumor that the Eagles, they were linking him to Philadelphia, like with the Eagles. And I'm just like, this defensive line is already good, but if they're not already as good as they are, if you had Aaron Donald and you just gave up picks to get him, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be the most feared defensive line. Yeah. And any quarterback who's got to go up against that line, where you add Donald in there too, that's just gonna be.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
I pray for you if that happens. But I don't know. There are rumors as of now, but the trade deadline is still a ways away, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just think, in our particular case, what you mentioned about the linebacker and safety position, I'm not worried about the safety position because I do think that there are seasoned veterans as depth on the safety position, but I do think Sidney Brown will rise and take that other safety spot that's open. For me, I am a little bit worried about the linebacker position, and that's just because I'm trying to be real about it. As Nakobe Dean hasn't, and this is again another symptom of Jonathan Gannon. Gannon didn't really put him in the rotation as much as he should have been as a rookie. And so he doesn't have like the experience level that he probably should have going into his second year. So although I am confident because he is a great player and he is surrounded by teammates from his school in which they won the national championship from out in Georgia, I do think that there will be just a couple of growing pains that we'll have to get over. We'll have to I will certainly say we're going to need the offense to win us games more so than we can depending on the defense. You know what I mean? Like, we can't depend on the defense as much as we can the offense this year. It's kind of the same story as last year. Offense won us a lot of games last year where the defense was just like barely making it through, giving up points here and there. It was just a symptom of that Jonathan Gannon bend don't break. So the philosophy there is we're not giving up the big plays. You know what I mean? But they still gave up a bunch of small ticky-tack plays, and with the good quarterbacks, they gave up big plays anyway. So there's the way he put his players in the formations and the lack of blitzing, it really put his defensive backs in a very difficult situation to succeed. And so thankfully we have Desai now, and he's more willing to blitz. I don't know if you noticed in the preseason games.
We didn't blitz a lot in the preseason games, though. We didn't blitz a lot. Those preseason games.
The last
kind of a little wide.
The last one he didn't, but the first couple of preseason games he was doing disguised blitzes and he was mixing it up. Like, he was doing like every other play it was a blitz, and they actually did the percentages live, and they compared it to the average overall that Gannon blitz, and they're like, this defensive coordinator is already blitzing way more than Jonathan Gannon ever did.
Yeah, man. What is it with us having defensive coordinators that don't blitz? Not only did Jonathan Gannon not blitz, but then Jim Schwartz didn't blitz either. He barely blitzed, dude. When we had Jim Schwartz here beforehand. No, you're right. Desai, you definitely saw it. I don't have the statistics, but yeah, you could definitely see just from watching those first couple preseason games, man, that they definitely mixed some scheme up for blitz to incorporate more blitzing than you really ever saw with Jonathan Gannon. I mean, Jalen Carter had a sack right off the game one. He just they set up the scheme, and he went back. He was back there within like 3 seconds and put a hit on the quarterback right away. So, I agree with you. I think we could be a little weak in the middle of the field. The Eagles have never valued that linebacker position. Now, I don't want to say never, but in like the last 10 years, the last decade or so, the Eagles have just not. It's just not a position that the Eagles have ever they've never really drafted linebackers high. Like, it's just one of those positions. But I do agree with you. I think it might be a little bit of growing pains with Dean. I like him too, but yeah, you're right. They didn't really utilize him, incorporate him as much as they probably should have. Now him going into his second year, and he's commanding the defense. So it could be a little bit of growing pains, but because the linebacker is an important position, because you're usually that's usually the position that is gonna run the defense. So we'll see what happens. I still think they're stout up front. They got probably, I think, going into the season, not only the number one O-line, but they had the number one defensive line going into the season too. So they are strong up front, which allows for turnovers in the back end. So the safety spot, they might be okay. And then, of course, on the outside with Bradbury and Slay, I think they're going to be just fine. Then they move Maddox to the cornerback slot position too. I know he's played safety a little bit in the past too. Yeah, they're strong all around. The linebacker, they might be able to just dump it off. They might just try to expose us with short passes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Because we got Zach Cunningham. Yeah, we got Cunningham, Dean, and then Christian Ellis made his mark, so they moved him up to the linebacker. Yeah, even with Miles Jack, it sucks that he retired. I wish him the best, but he was a little bit older too. Like a lot of people, if he still had Jack, I mean, he was a little older. I'm not sure how much more of a difference it would have been. I guess some type of veteran presence, kind of like how Cunningham is though too. Cunningham and Miles Jack both had injuries in the past, so it's that's the thing. Can he stay healthy? Zach Cunningham, it's just trying to stay healthy. But this team, other than that linebacker position and maybe the safety, all else around, this team is just stout all from top to bottom. Even the special teams with Jake Elliott, he's been a reliable kicker through 6-7 years on this team. So you have literally reliability at every position. And I'm very curious to see how this running back by committee goes this year, because I think that this could be strong.
I mean, like you said, Stephen, even with the linebacker position and things of that nature, the side is the way that his formations are, they're using 2, not even 3 linebackers at a time. They're using 2, so it's kind of gonna minimize that weakness. So where it's probably gonna be Cunningham, it's a rotation of Dean, Cunningham, and Christian Ellis, and so I think that, and then we have of course the outside linebackers, the edge rushers with, Hassan Reddick, you know what I mean? And so I just think that and of course he's ready to go after his thumb surgery. I'm just happy to see that we have a new coordinator and a guy who can get us organized and get this thing rolling and knows how to use the players right.
Of course, that's the thing, man. I don't think you're right. I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be anything worse than Gannon, to be honest. So our boy Harry George, is that do you know him? Harry Green. Boy Harry commented. He said, "What's the Harry Green?" Yeah,
I know Harry. What's up, bro?
That's your brother. What's going on, Harry?
What up?
Welcome in, man. He said, "What's up, bro?" Yeah, welcome in, man. Thank you for tuning in.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Let's go. Yeah, Rich, I agree with you. I don't think it could be worse than Gannon, man. This team was already this defense. So that's the thing. Gannon got a lot of credit, I think, last year when this defense played well. But was it really Gannon, or was this defense just stacked? Because they were stacked last year, and they're stacked this year. To be honest, minus C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I mean, this team is still a stacked team. Like I said, Jalen Carter kind of replaces Hargrave, so this team is still stacked. It kind of sucks we lost T.J. Edwards too. That's a spot. That's a position a lot of people haven't talked about. With the linebacker position, and that's a loss. Losing T.J. Edwards, small loss, not as big as C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but it's still a loss. But this team is still stout defensively, and I'm excited to see what this side.
We're actually a pretty good team, though. Pretty stacked team this year. I think we're actually pretty good, team. Together. We're not only the staff and some of defensive coordinators and all that, assistant coaches and so forth and so forth. But those teams, like you said, some additions, man. And of course, we lost a few players here and there, almost every season it happens. But we should be okay for the first 2 games. I feel until we see, we really have to worry about.
Yeah,
exactly. Bryce, what's going on, man? Doing well, man. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Let's go.
Fly.
Man, even with losing CJ, even with losing CJ Gardner-Johnson, bro, we had the 53-man roster. We had 7 cornerbacks on that thing, man. 7 cornerbacks. And then just seeing how Eli Ricks has Josh Jobe. I'm yo, we're really getting these guys who are from LSU, Big Alabama, schools these guys are already taught to be dogs, already taught to how to deal with people underestimating, and they've witnessed,
They're the
circumstances and
underdog.
situations, where people like Hurts have had to overcome being benched. Like they were like, at least, like, if they weren't physically there to see it, they were at the very least, they have knowledge of what has occurred. And they kind of have knowledge and insight from guys
Hey,
like Jalen Hurts, guys
fuck you
before
waiting
them,
for you.
on how to overcome, some of these guys weren't drafted coming in, and they were like, I think what was it? It was Eli Ricks, I believe, who where Desai and Nick Sirianni was like, "Hey, listen, it's no reason like why you shouldn't be able to make the team." And then like him just saying that, they said that to him, and he took that and he held on to that shit when they said that to him, and he's like, "I never forgot that." He's like, "This is how I made this team because I never forgot when they said that." And he was like, "There's no reason why I shouldn't make this team." And the dude ended up balling out in the preseason, breaking up plays, catching
Pick six
interceptions.
Ricks.
Pick
Pick
six.
six Ricks.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what they said. Like he had that pick against the Ravens, man. As a pick six. You're right, man. That was motivation, man. They said there ain't no reason you can make this team, and boom. I love what Sirianni and
When your
them
coach
telling
says
the
that,
players, man.
yeah.
They're players, guys, for sure. Like them guys back
They
there.
discipline and motivate the players for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of like
Yeah,
Doug
they're
Peterson
locker
when
room
he was
coaches,
here, though, too,
exactly.
man. Players, guys. You need that in the locker room, man. You need the players, guys.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean? In
You
the
definitely
locker
need
room
those
to motivate
because they
you.
respect you more too, and then the coach puts faith on you, and then they repay you. It kind of like reciprocates to like good work and work ethic, and they're strong now, and they already come from good backgrounds from college. Some
Look
of the
how
Georgia
goofy
guys are
everybody
tough.
thought. I was gonna say, yeah. Look how goofy everybody thought Sirianni was when he first came here. They're like, "Oh, this dude's not gonna make it here. He's gonna be terrible." Oh my
They're
god,
doubting him to death.
they doubted him from day one, man. I mean, yeah, he says some off the wall stuff, but
Right.
like, give the man a chance, though. Like, it's like just because the man says some off the wall stuff doesn't mean the guy can't coach. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're so critical in this city, and a lot of people don't really know how to handle how good this team is this year. Because I know people. I think it was Ray Didinger had said on radio, or I think it was on Bird's Huddle. He said he's never ever been as optimistic for an Eagles team in all his years of watching as he is for this team. He thinks this team, he's as confident as he's ever been going into a season with this team this year.
Yeah,
And
man. Like they tied that record for most wins in franchise history last season. So it's like I never seen. I'm not gonna lie. Like since I've been around, and I've seen the Eagles succeed at the highest level. I've seen the Eagles fail, been at their lowest.
At the highest level.
Like
Lowest.
and like I never seen an Eagles team like this with this leadership before. Like I've never seen Eagles be so like in tune with their team and block out the media. You remember, man, remember the McNabb era when things were going off with TO and the media was just like Philly media was really getting under the players and organization skin. Like and as
Yo,
an
guys, I gotta
organization,
apologize. I gotta get going now. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I do gotta go, guys. You guys continue the show. It's been great, man. It's just gonna get really, really good, intense, and I gotta go. Unfortunately, I'm actually at I'm on my job now. So you guys have a great one. Great one. I'm gonna watch the show a little later and hear it tomorrow or later on tonight on Spotify. And yeah, just keep clicking on the show. But I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for having me again.
peace out, bro.
It was great to be here, Steve. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Yep. Have a
Sounds
great
good,
weekend,
man.
and thanks for the support. All right, Rich. See you guys.
bro.
Take care, man. Put in the work.
Yeah, but like as I was saying, bro, like I've never like if we seen in the past, right? It's always been some type of scandal or some type of big deal made because you know how Philly media is, right? When we brought McNabb over, I mean not McNabb, when we brought Michael Vick over, they want to blow up and keep talking about the dog stuff after he already served his time, things of that nature with McNabb and the TO thing. They sensationalize. Conflict within the organization. So really, I do think that Philly sports media can be a lot of the team's biggest enemy. Like Philly sports media has now, it's a lot of good things in Philly sports media, but often it's actually the Philly sports media that I see blames a lot of the Eagles fans for a lot of the things, and it's like, well, you guys make the articles, like you guys make things a bigger deal than what they are, or try to take like any little thing, like remember the Jalen Hurts with the Super Bowl wallpaper with him in the background and the Chiefs confetti, like it was a player that was taking a picture of something going on in the conference room. He wasn't even taking a picture of that. But like someone in Philly sports media looked at the wallpaper, pointed out, and then posted like, mad articles about it, as they should. That's their job to get news out and to really bring us attention, like bring attention to things that we don't really think about. So he's just doing his job. But in the same sense, like that's something that like Hertz didn't really want anybody to know.
Right.
Like he told them straight up, like if it was my choice, like on the podium, he was like, if it was my choice, y'all wouldn't even known that I had that as my wallpaper. And like, but like how they interact with media, they don't really let media get reactions out of them. They don't talk too much about what they're gonna do. Like past Eagles, like Chip Kelly loved to talk. Like Chip Kelly loved the attention. You know what I mean, of the media. He it was just certain things that in this organization right now where you can see that as a franchise we're just focused on one goal right now.
Exactly, we're dialed in, and that's even Jalen Hurts said it. He's like, money's nice, but a championship's better. It's just this team is built different. There's not a lot of noise, like you said, and I do agree that I think that our media is our own worst enemy. Sometimes you got so many different talking heads saying different things, but we don't get the term, what is it, Negladelphia, for nothing. A lot of us get called negative because this city is negative. I don't really have anything negative to say about this team this year. I mean, I'm being honest. I don't think it's cockiness. I think it's cool, calm confidence, in the team. And I think that that's important. I think that's how the team is run too. Those guys don't have big heads. Every week it's week to week. We focus in on each game. We don't look ahead. And as much as we made it to the Super Bowl last year, I doubt these guys are looking ahead to the Super Bowl. They they're looking at 1 week at a time. And I think AJ Brown said that too. We got to win. We got to get the W, and we got to win the week. So we got to win each week. We have preparation for each team. If you look ahead, that's when you start to lose focus and you lose what's right in front of you. It's a mountain to climb again to get back to where you are. And as talented as you are, it's a mountain. So you have to take it week by week, step by step. And I think this team is built like that, especially with Jalen Hurts. I love Hurts, man. I think that, he's a fearless, cool, calm, collected leader in the locker room. At one point, we thought that's how Carson Wentz was, and that clearly showed that was not the case, man. Once Nick Foles got the Super Bowl, you could tell he started to unravel. He just couldn't handle it. And it was different. But Hurts is the real deal, I think. I always give you the shout out, man, because you were riding with Hurts from day one. I remember when you had the Hurts with that Hurts season hat. So you've been riding with my man Jalen from day one.
Shout out LB. Shout out LB, Lord Brunson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I had the Hurts season hat from the gate, man. You already know, man. For me, it was some similarity. It was just certain plays, like even when he first came in, and it was just like they used him as a runner, or they used him kind of as like a Taysom Hill type of quarterback where you just throw in there for run plays. Like they remember when they were doing that at first when Wentz was still here, like. It was just certain ways and certain flashes and certain plays that I was like, yo, if we develop this guy, like if we really sit back and develop this guy, I could see him turning out like, at the very least a Dak Prescott and I know like as Eagles fans, we don't really care for Dak. Dak is not good by any means to me. He's average. In my opinion, he's lost his run ability over the years, and he's just too prone. He's just too interception prone right now at this point in his career. I think he's regressing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that it's just a lack of accountability in that organization. Yeah. But besides all that, in our city and our organization, the fans are going to hold you accountable, and Hurts is used to that because he's coming from Alabama.
It's a standard.
It's a standard. And then his dad was a football coach, so he was like accountability was already like ingrained in his DNA the minute that he touched a football. And so that's the type of personality that we need in Philly. That's the type of thing that it's like, okay, this guy, if he loses a game, he's going to take accountability. He's not going to sit there and feel sorry for himself going into the next game and then be in his head about the next game and what he should do. No, he's going back to refocus on correcting his mistakes from the last game so that he doesn't take them into the next game. Excuse me. So that's what we need.
Yeah, and that's the markings of a fantastic quarterback. As much as people don't like Tom Brady, you know damn well Tom Brady takes that accountability. He puts that on him. As much as like people think Tom Brady's like a diva and all this other stuff, you know damn well in that locker room, Tom Brady puts that on him, and that's how Tom Brady has always gotten the respect of his team and of his guys, and that's how Hurts is too. You know what I mean? This team respects Jalen Hurts because they know he's going to come out, and if there's something that he messed up or didn't do correctly on, he's going to take accountability for it. I know a big one was in the Super Bowl when they had the fumble and stuff like that. He put it all on him, man. Like, you know what I mean? So you're right. That's the DNA of Philadelphia, and that's what you need in this city. You need a quarterback like that because this media in this city can carve you up if you're soft and you don't take accountability. If you put the blame on other people and you just have a soft demeanor, this is soft as cream cheese. This city is going to carve you up. And as much as we thought Wentz was a leader, you saw like as soon as he started to get we started to see his true colors.
Adversity. Yeah.
He had never, and that's the thing. He played in North Dakota. He never played in like a big market coming into this city. He played in a very small market. He wasn't used to all the stuff he was going to have to face here. And when he was winning, everything was great. But when he was losing, that's how you got to see like the true colors and stuff like that of how people act and things and you saw there was always extras going on in the locker room. You hear stories come out. You don't hear that with Jalen Hurts. And even if we were losing, I don't think you hear that with Jalen Hurts. That's just not him. That's not how he is. And he's a guy that's, again, he's always going to do what he can to win. I was just impressed last year of what he did. He worked on in the offseason, and it seems like a guy that always wants to improve some part of his craft every year. So I'm curious to see. A lot of people ain't saying this as good as he played last year. I'm curious to see what he's going to improve on this year because you know damn well in the offseason there was something he was probably going to try to improve on. Maybe it was the deep ball accuracy. Now he's hitting the deep ball. Maybe he wants to be a little accurate. I'm curious to see what he's going to add to his game because I'm sure he worked on something in the offseason that he's going to add to his game because he seems like he's that type of guy for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree, man. It was just and shout out to Alshon Jeffrey too, because Alshon Jeffrey was one of the first players to actually recognize it on the Eagles team. Like obviously Doug, because it was Doug's idea to have him drafted. But Alshon was like the first player to recognize the leadership in that. Like Alshon Jeffrey was like one of the first Eagles players to be like, yeah, I actually want Jalen Hurts to start over Carson Wentz. And then I think that he was also the player that leaked that Carson Wentz had a bad attitude once Foles won the Super Bowl, and like he never really got past that. So that shout out to Alshon, and then just on what you mentioned about the leadership ability and the accountability that Jalen Hurts has. Well, I was actually just swiping through YouTube, and I had happened to come across a live stream between Philly 500 and a Patriots fan out there and out there in Connecticut, up there actually. And he was talking about how, man, like Philly 500 had actually asked him about Mac Jones, talking about our week 1 matchup that's coming up in a couple of days, just to flip the script here and talk about the game for week 1. And this Patriots fan actually said that he does not like Mac Jones' leadership ability. How he measures quarterbacks is through leadership ability, accountability, and how do you adjust to adversity. And how do you carry a team on your back? Like, how do you treat your teammates, right? And pretty much this Patriots fan said that Jalen Hurts was one of his favorite quarterbacks in the NFL, a Patriots fan. So that says a lot. He was saying that, man, he's like, man, we really kind of fell off once Tom Brady left because, they got Mac Jones from Alabama. But one of the issues, and this is something that Nick Saban out in Alabama was talking about with Mac Jones, his behavior, his immaturity, his outbursts that he has on and off the field, his attitudes are just bad. and it's not good for the teammates and the people around him. So you'll go if anyone watching looks on YouTube, look up videos of Mac Jones getting angry, yelling on the sideline, yelling at coaches, yelling at teammates. I remember last year he threw a tantrum because a timeout was called. Like, stuff like that, man.
The
Like,
antics.
it just speaks to maturity,
Yeah, man, the antics. I remember, like, you just be watching a game and they would show highlights of a certain game, and it'd be like if it was New England or something, and you see Mac Jones on the sidelines just having a freaking tantrum and the antics. I remember that with Mac Jones, and like, yeah, that's the thing. Jalen Hurts, for how old he is very mature. He's ahead of his time for the age that he is. He seems like a seasoned veteran that's been in the league 10 years. The way he carries himself and the accountability, it's built like that type of stuff. It's that's not even learned. That's just built in your DNA. Like, he learned that from an early age. You can tell, like you said, with his dad, with his father, from an early age. That was something that was ingrained in him. Whereas, like, a lot of these kids, it's just the entitlement. As much as Matt, like you said, Mac Jones, who's another one that they got on? Zach Wilson. Remember that when he was throwing his team under the bus and stuff like that with Zach Wilson in New York? Like, a lot of these guys aren't built like that. Like Jalen Hurts, and you're right.
Even Geno Smith, bro. Like, even before Geno Smith had a great year that he had last season, a lot of people don't remember. Geno Smith got his block knocked off by a teammate back when he played for the Jets because of his mouth. And actually, a lineman actually punched him in the face and broke his face because of he was just disrespecting him and talking down to him like he was a little kid and really like cursing at him and stuff like that. Like, and I think it was one of his linemen. One of his offensive linemen that knocked him out.
Pick on the wrong one.
And ever since then, he must have knocked him back to reality, because ever since then, Geno Smith hasn't been causing problems where he's been going.
Trying to take on a 350-pound lineman, like, you gotta get so stupid. Like, but yeah, you're right. A lot of these guys is the immaturity. You see, like, you got Mac Jones, Tua, and then Hurts. Hurts is the most cool, calm, and collected of the three. I think Tua is talented, but he battles injuries. That's the problem with Tua. And also, Hurts is the best of the three of them. They all played together at some point. I think that they all were boys, but Hurts is just built different, man. We're blessed to have him on this team, and like we lucked out, man. Drafting him second round. A lot of people, and I was one of them. Like, I was mad that at the time, that we drafted a quarterback in the second round. But who would have thought, we'd be where we're at today? And we're just so blessed to have a leader like him on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was confused when we drafted Hurts. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused. I was like, I thought we would get more weapons for Wentz. So yeah. I was like a little taken aback that they had drafted Hurts, but now I understand that like they must have seen something we didn't, and they were like, we might need a contingency plan, like at the very least, just in case this doesn't work out.
They knew what was going on with Wentz behind the scenes. See, we didn't know that Alshon had leaked some stuff. And at the time, they painted Alshon as the villain. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look, he's trying to break up the team. And like, they painted Alshon as like the bad guy. But deep down, Alshon was just keeping it real. I mean, Alshon keeps it real just from seeing his interview during the Super Bowl. And they're asking him about like him being there with Justin Timberlake and stuff. He's like, I don't care about any of this. Like, I just want to play football. We could have came like the day before the Super Bowl and played. So like, he's one to like not shy away from speaking his mind. And they painted him as the villain, but really he knew what was going on in the locker room. You could tell he was playing much harder when Foles would come in and play versus Wentz. And like, it wasn't like that the first year, but it was after Foles won the Super Bowl. That's when you could tell like there was a rift, like, because at first Alshon and Wentz got along great, like the connection was there. But after the Super Bowl, once Foles won, Wentz got sour about it, and he always, I guess, was looking behind him, like in his own shadow, with Foles sitting there on the bench. So you could tell when Foles came in that one year and we played the Saints in the playoffs and we almost won. We beat the Bears and then we played the Saints and we almost won. They were playing so much harder for Foles than they were for Wentz. And that speaks to a leader, man. Like, that's not, guys are going to play hard for people who they respect. So, like you said, Geno Smith, like, lashing out at his lineman, that's not how you handle a situation. You're not going to gain these guys respect by doing shit like that. So, I'm happy that we got a guy like Hurts commanding our offense. And this offense is going to be absolutely disgustingly ferocious. Like, it's going to be tough to stop, man. We can carve you so many ways. So, and then with the best offensive line in the league, too, on top of it, with Mailata, Lane Johnson, Kelsey, you got Jurgens, Driscoll. These guys up front are just like, you give Hurts all that time on top of it. It's going to be, I think,
man. The leaders on this team, bro. Like, when you break it down, man, it's like we have like more leaders on this team than some people probably do in their whole NFL. Like, organizations like the Arizona Cardinals, like, man, with Kyler Murray and his attitude and his behavior and his antics, like, and he's not by any means a bad person off the field or anything like that, but on the field and how he conducts himself and how he treats his coaches, you can see that it's not going in a good direction for Kyler Murray. And it really, I mean, when I look on a team like the Cardinals, we do play them this season as well. What week do we play the Arizona?
Very late in the season. It's like week 16, 17, or it's not the last season. It's
week 17.
17. Yeah, it's late. It's late.
So, like, man, like,
they could be 0-15 at that point, man. The Cardinals, I'm gonna be honest, man. They'd be lucky to get a win this year, man. The way that with Kyler Murray and Gannon as his coach, man, I just want to get the popcorn, man, and I want to sit back and watch this unfold. Because you're right, man, the way he's treated his coaches in the past. And then you got a guy like Gannon coming in here who's just like a very weird guy, but not like not in the sense of Sirianni, though. So Sirianni is a very intelligent guy. Gannon's just I think he believes his own crap, dude. Like, I don't know, like, he's just strange, like
weird, dog. Like, when Sirianni was talking on the podium and he was like, man, listen, we were buddies, you know, coming out of this. Like, this is why he was the defensive coordinator. But when he left Philly, he wasn't answering no phone calls from Sirianni. Sirianni was talking about that. And then, like, he would go up on a podium out there in Arizona and talk about, you know, Eagles fans and talk about X, Y, Z. It's just like, well, yeah, Eagles fans are going to be mad at you if you don't do your job. Like, you're the only one in the equation not doing your job consistently. And, like, that's I mean, honestly, if anyone could pick at anything from last season, it would literally be Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, exactly. It really would be. You had that talented of a defense, and he got exposed in the third and fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. That's where it all came to. That's where the talent just wasn't enough, like, to overcome Jonathan Gannon's mistakes, and that's where you got exposed. You got exposed. Your scheme got exposed against the best quarterback in the league. As much as I like Jalen Hurts, obviously right now Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. You got exposed by Patrick Mahomes on one ankle in the third and fourth quarter, and by a coach of Andy Reid. Andy Reid exposed that Jonathan Gannon scheme. Not only did he get burnt once, but he got burnt twice. It was on the same. I think it was just the same exact move
on different
sides of the field. Yep.
He would what Gannon would do. He would let them pick him apart going down the field. They just pick him apart going down the field, whether it was running or passing. And then because Pachenko was running on us like crazy, I'm not even gonna lie. I hate it. I'm not. If any Chiefs fans are watching, or if any Chiefs fans see this later, Pachenko got on my nerves, because I am going to try and post this podcast on my YouTube channel, Rich and Media, of course, to get some exposure for both of us here. But, man, Pachenko, man, I remember being so happy when C.J. Gardner-Johnson towards the end of the game laid him out. He laid one on him. I don't know if you remember, but Pachenko got hurt late in the game by C.J. He really put a hit on him, and he barely was getting up. He was like stumbling and everything, but he had already put like a buck. I think it was like a $120 on us by then, or something like that. He already had something high. Let me check the stats for that.
He was carving us. He was carving us. They were carving us, and that's the thing. Like, because you're right. They ran the ball a lot. Even Mahomes had run the ball on us. Passing wise, Hurts had the better passing game. That was clear. Hurts honestly had 380 yards passing in the Super Bowl. And that's why I said Hurts would have been Super Bowl MVP had we won. He had a better game than Mahomes. I mean, now they'll say Mahomes had the ankle injury. But how injured really was Mahomes, man? They shot him up with something at halftime, because we watched the Super Bowl together, man, and we all thought like, oh, he's in trouble. Like you saw how he went out at the end of the first half, and then he came back and he was still running on that ankle. So I don't know what they shot him up with, but
My fault. Maybe it felt like a $120, but Pachenko did 15 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. So he was almost over that 80-yard mark against our Eagles defense.
it felt more than that though, man. Did they who else was it? Was it just him running? They had obviously Mahomes was running too. And that's the thing. They were able to run on us a decent amount.
Nah, they had more than one. I remember them doing some sweep plays where they had like wide receivers sweeping across like running backs around the other way behind Mahomes. And so they have a very dynamic offense. So I'm not surprised that they outsmarted Gannon. Andy Reid is a good coach. He's a genius. His time in Philly was his time in Philly, though. He got us to the Super Bowl, and he got us to multiple playoff berths and runs under the Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid era. So I am grateful for Andy Reid. But at this point in time, that cord's been kind of cut with Andy Reid for me, where it's just like, all right, I don't really care about those old memories now. I mean, you beat us now. So I can't wait until we go back to Kansas City and play Kansas City. Like I can't wait. Like a lot of people are scared of these games. Like for me as an Eagles fan, I have like the utmost confidence in this team to the point where I'm like, man, I'm not really afraid of anybody. I mean, the only team that I'm possibly even a little bit afraid of is maybe like maybe the not even I can't even say I'm worried about the Bills.
Nah, because
I'm not worried about nobody, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Bills kind of got they got exposed against the Bengals. That's one fantastic team that we lucked out not playing this year. We don't play Cincinnati. So we don't have to play them with Chase and Burrow, but you do have to play. We do have to play almost everybody else. You got to play the Chiefs. You got to play the Bills. The Bills got to come here, so they got to play in Philly. We're not going up to Buffalo at that time of the year. You got to go to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs, but that's the thing. We got to play who we play. I just we're going to play who's in front of us, and the Eagles are going to play hard no matter who they play. So exactly, I'm not worried about it. And the NFC isn't particularly strong. It's besides us, Dallas and San Fran, I think San Fran, like, they don't have a quarterback though, man. Like, that's going to be a problem for them. I don't care how great their roster is top to bottom. They're missing the key piece.
San Fran is probably the only team that I am a little bit afraid to play, and not because of their abilities or because of how good I think they are, because I don't really think they're that great. Like, I think they're a great team, but I don't think that they're better than us.
They got a good coach. They got a good coach. They got Shanahan.
Coach, but I'm afraid of playing San Fran because I know that they're going to play us dirty.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're going to try their utmost to ruin our season. They're going to try their utmost to
injure Hurts. Yeah, just like we hurt Purdy. Like, they're going to try to do something.
And that's how they're going to try and justify it, too. They're going to say, well, last year you hurt our quarterback, so we're here to hurt your quarterback. But it's like, well, we're playing football. This isn't like we intentionally injured him. He got his hand smacked from trying to throw the ball and get rid of the ball. His hand – we were going for the ball. Yeah, he smacked his hand. So how does Hassan Reddick – like, Hassan Reddick's going for that ball. He does not give a shit about Brock Purdy's hand. I guarantee
it isn't like it's Patrick Mahomes and, you want to try to take a shot because, like, he's Mahomes. He's freaking Brock Purdy, dude. Like, he's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, at the end of the day, and no, it's not like we took a headshot on him. He just hit him in the head. He's making a football move. It's just like, but that's the thing. They'll try to justify that. Honestly, you might call me crazy for this, but at the beginning of the year, going into this year, I thought it was going to be us in San Fran. I think Dallas is going to have a better year than San Fran. I'm going to tell you, I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling. And it always is. It is hard to win the division back-to-back. I still think we're going to win the division. We're going to do it for the first time since like 04-05 or 03-04 when the Eagles did it last. But I think Dallas is going to be tough. And I honestly think this could be an NFC Championship game that we should have got last year between Philly and Dallas. That very well could be us in the NFC Championship game this year in Philly, Eagles, Dallas. And if that's the case, we're going to win because we're going to be playing in Philly. But I think it very well could be. Dallas is always right there. As much as like it's weird too. Yeah, Prescott's not like he's mediocre, he's average, but it's weird. He plays very well against us. I don't know what it is. He plays well against the Eagles majority of the time.
Well, they went 4-1 without Dak last season.
Yeah, they did.
So
they did.
That shows you how like Dak is not that special. Like I think that Dallas has a good team. I think Micah Parsons is a great leader for that team, and I think that they do have some good leaders. I think CeeDee Lamb is a great kind of like player to rally around. I think Dak has good leadership intangibles, but I just don't think that it translates to his playing ability where it does what hurts it. I think it hurts his intangibles translate to results because of he puts that into his work. Dak Prescott, I can't really speak, not to sit here and say I respect his work, and I know he probably does work his behind off, but I don't think anybody is working as hard as Jalen Hurts right now. Any quarterbacks in the NFL, I couldn't really name. Probably Mahomes is right up there with Jalen Hurts just because I hear how Mahomes carries himself like a veteran as well. And Mahomes is like laser focused. That's why people are kind of we're calling him the mini GOAT because it's just kind of like his preparation is insane. And I think that beyond Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, I think the rest of the quarterbacks in the league are separate by a large margin. In my opinion.
The only other one I could say is maybe Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow has that winning DNA in him too. He's always been a winner. He's always been a winner since his high school, college days, and then coming into the NFL. So I would maybe want Burrow in there too. So, but outside of those three, yeah, I agree. As good as Josh Allen is, I don't think they have that same type of work ethic. I just think Hurts is that other level. But yeah, I don't. Like the one thing I think that Dallas isn't getting credit for, and I know he's a little older, but they did get Gilmore. So they do have another corner on the other side of Trayvon Diggs now. So I think their defense is really good. They lose Zeke, but Zeke's older. You know, he went to New England now. They got Tony Pollard as their one. They, like you said, they have CeeDee Lamb. They have Brandon Cooks now. Yeah, I just think Dallas is they're pain in the ass. They're always there, and I still think they will be. You know, but you know, we already know with Dallas, like when they get to the playoffs, how they are. Will this finally be the year that Dallas can get past the threshold and get to the NFC Championship? I think it very well could be a Dallas Eagles NFC Championship, but San Fran isn't anybody to sleep on. That defense is still ferocious. How they are, Fred Warner. They just extended Nick Bosa, $171 million. So they're still gonna. San Fran's still gonna be a pain in the ass too. They're gonna be there. I don't know about Seattle. Somebody says Seattle is a sleeper. They think that San Fran's overrated and they're going to have a down year, and they think Seattle's going to win the division.
I can see that. They've been balling out there. They got great players. They still got Metcalf. Geno's been balling out. Like, I think Geno Smith is better than Dak Prescott. Like, they were talking about on I forgot what – I think it was Rich Eisen. They were talking about, you know, Dak being kind of overrated. And, man, I could sit here right to your face and name 10 quarterbacks that I think are better than Dak Prescott. And I'll do it right now. Like let's see, like Trevor. Wait, so obviously Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, right? Herbert, Lamar Jackson,
Lawrence,
Geno Smith. Like I just said, I think Geno Smith is way better than Prescott right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a few more who I'm forgetting. Hold on, let me.
Rodgers at his age.
Aaron Rodgers, right?
I would say Aaron Rodgers. And then
there's one more. I can't think of the name. I'm going.
Who even plays hard? Jared Goff, dude. Jared Goff plays hard too. Like that, the Lions could be a sleeper this year too.
Oh, Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford. So yeah. I think Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford are better than. I think Dak is just NFC East Kirk Cousins, but like with less achievements. Because Kirk Cousins, I believe, has more playoff wins than Dak Prescott.
Right.
Like Kirk Cousins has made it to NFC Championship. Dak Prescott has not. So.
Yeah. Even Derek Carr's questionable to say that. Derek Carr too, like is you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like he's average, Dak Prescott. You know, he had a really fantastic year. What was it, year 2 for them or year 1? Like when they went, what was it, 12-4, and then like they had the chance, and Rodgers just broke their hearts with that crazy throw to
Like he's a top 10. I mean, he's a top 15. I don't think he's a top 10.
No, I would agree with that. They do. That's the one thing. Like Dak is the one that ruined it for him last year. They could have won that game. He threw 2 interceptions, and it destroyed him against San Fran. That was the reason they lost. Those 2 picks were what screwed them over.
Yeah, I just think in the playoffs, I just think it's like an Andy Dalton situation where you kind of ball out in the regular season. You look really great in the regular season. You get to the playoffs and you kind of lay an egg. Probably win a playoff game, you know, because I think Andy Dalton won one playoff game and then, nothing really more than that. I don't think I just don't think Dak has it. I think that I remember Colin Cowherd was talking about it today. Like, Dak hasn't really. What can Dak do better than Jalen Hurts that these Cowboys fans are talking about out here? Like, what can Dak? What is there any one category where Dak is better at Jalen Hurts than?
He's not a better runner. Hurts worked on his passing game in the deep ball. Hurts is a better passer. I don't know what he's better at. Even in the sneak, the QB sneak, Jalen Hurts is better. I don't know like what they could say that they're better. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Hurts takes care of the ball better.
Like without Hurts, Eagles lost 2 games. Without Dak, Cowboys won 4 and went, like I said, they went 4-1. And without Hurts, Eagles went 0-2 with the same team. So all these people out here on other fan bases and other teams talking about the only reason Eagles are winning is because Jalen Hurts, or the only reason that Jalen Hurts is winning is because Eagles have a good team. That's a load of BS because the second that Hurts was out and Minshew was in, we lost 2 games.
Yeah, and yeah, we have a good team, but it's a recipe. It's not one guy versus everyone. You know what I mean? I don't care how good of a quarterback you are. If you don't have a couple weapons, that's what you do. You build around your quarterback. You have to have a good team. I don't understand what the argument is there. It's like Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce, and for years he had Tyreek Hill. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, it's even last year. He didn't have Tyreek Hill, but he still had. He has one, and arguably, Andy Reid is arguably he's going to go down as like a top 3 head coach all time. You have Andy Reid as your coach, and then you still have Travis Kelce, who's the best tight end in the league. Like, right. I'm not saying Mahomes isn't great, and then they had actually a decent defense. Chris Jones and all them back, you know what I mean? Like, they had a decent defense. Patrick Mahomes is who he is, but I don't understand what the argument is. Oh, he plays on a great team. So what?
I've been ranting a lot.
Yeah, that's how we did. How we built around them to give them a good team. Yeah, what are we supposed to have? A bad team? I don't understand. It makes no sense.
Man, this is why I've been ranting so much on my channel. Like, I've been ranting so much on my channel lately. Like, probably my last 2 out of 5 videos were me ranting about certain people from the media.
I remember you said shout out McCoy. I saw the video. Shout out Shady for defending us.
Shout out Shady out there on what is it called? Get Up or whatever. Speak, I think it's called. Yeah.
Marius said Dak is better than Hurts at making
yogurt commercials. Yeah, man. Yeah. So Marius, what I'm talking about, man. Like, it's just wild, man. It's I just been ranting just because it's like these delusional Dallas fans that still like, well, Hurts has only been good 1 season. Dak has been doing this for you. What has Dak done?
When it comes down to it, he's never made it to a Super Bowl. Hurts has year 2, like already that's over. Like Hurts has I don't know how many playoff wins Dak even has if I'm total it up, but Hurts either
like 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hurts already has 3 playoff wins, and he already had an appearance the year before that too. I mean, obviously, our team was it was way different looking, but we played Tom Brady. But he's been there. He's played 4 times, and what is he? So he's 3-1, or well, 2. Actually, no, he has 2 wins. So he's 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. But in the Super Bowl, we almost won. So no, he has 2 wins. But that's what I'm saying. Hurts in year 2, full year 2, already has as many wins as Dak.
and he's won an NFC championship. Like Dak hasn't even won an NFC championship. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it makes no
Like,
sense. He
he's
hasn't
never even been to one. Exactly.
Yeah, he's never even been to an NFC championship. So it's like, I don't care how many times you've made it to the playoffs. Yeah, Dallas is a good regular season team. They play well in the regular season, usually. And then they get to the playoffs, but we already know.
And I'll argue that Dallas gets favorable schedules from the NFL, like just because of how sensationalized they are through the media and through like it pays for Dallas to win.
How
So
much money? Yeah, that they
yeah,
get.
like Dallas generates a lot of money, so that's a franchise that NFL is going to make sure okay they have a schedule where they can win at least more than half of their games with some easy teams. So for me, in my opinion, Dallas has always had easy schedules. Like the schedule, no, like they would never give Dallas the schedule that we have right now, where we have to play the freaking Chiefs, the Bills, and the freaking 49ers in a row like that. Like, nah, that would never happen to Dallas.
One thing I was gonna say is maybe Dallas has never had that tough of a schedule because they never get past the second round. So they don't give them a hard schedule because they're always middle of the pack. We have a tough schedule because we made it to the Super Bowl. They don't get there. They haven't been in the Super Bowl since 1996.
That's facts.
Yeah, so maybe it's that too. Like they've never ever in our lifetime seen past the second. Like I was 4 years old when Dallas won the Super Bowl. I don't remember that. I was 4 years old. I wasn't even old enough to comprehend football at 4. So like my whole lifetime, I don't remember Dallas ever being relevant. Like that's the thing. Like so it's
I always remember growing up watching Tony Romo choke. I remember growing up like watching McNabb always beat up on Tony Romo. Like I remember watching the Miracle at the Meadowlands and us beat up on the Giants. I do remember the 2010s, like 2008, 2010 stuff where Giants did win the Super Bowl against the Patriots twice. They did that against the Patriots. Credit to the New York Giants fan base. I think that New York Giants are actually going to be fighting the Cowboys for a wild card spot. Yeah. But New York Giants to me have been more relevant than the Cowboys. I think that like I'll say like this though, I still grew up watching Miracle at the Meadowlands 1, 2, and even that was a third one as well. So I've rooted for the Patriots. Not Patriots, for the Giants to beat the Patriots, just because I would rather have them win than the Patriots win. But like for me, like we've always kind of beat up on the Giants, who are going toe to toe with the Giants. Like, and the same thing with the Cowboys. Like we've always been back and forth just because that's just how this division is built. Like even a team like you saw what happened when the Redskins beat us last year, but even though there were some missed calls and some missed things, that's a whole other subject.
That game was weird, man, because there were drops. Me and Marius and George were in Miami, and we were watching that game at a bar. And man, it was just drop after because it was Monday Night Football. So the good thing is no other team was being aired. So we were down in Miami, but we were still able to watch the game, even though we're from Philly because it was a Monday night game. So it was the only game on. But that was the weirdest game. It was just drop after drop by Quez Watkins, fumble, like weird stuff just happened in that game. That was just such an odd game. It just seemed like every time you thought you were going to come back, you just couldn't do it. It was just weird. Goddard got hurt that game too. Again, a missed call. They hit Goddard, concussion, hit him in the head, and it was a dirty hit, no call. That was a weird game.
You know, Redskins dirty, man. Redskins are dirty, dude.
So honestly, that was a weird game. And then on top of it, so then you have the Super Bowl. Those were the only 2 games that Hurts lost last year. Other than that weird game, and then Jonathan Gannon's terrible scheme in the Super Bowl. As much as Hurts had a fumble, was the only mistake he made all playoffs. And then had that weird call not been made at the end, they called the flag, pass interference. They don't get that call. They kick a field goal, we have an opportunity to go down the field and win the game. And
man, it was even like the missed face mask call, like that hurt Dallas Goedert. Like it was just so many bad calls plus bad play by our players that game. Like I was just like, man, that was just one of the freakiest games I ever seen. That was the first game we lost.
Yeah, it's like just one of those games where you chalk it up. It's just like it's weird, and you have those type of weird. I feel like. You have those type of. That's why it's so difficult, man, to go perfect during a season because I feel like you always have one of those games where it's just chalked up. And we probably outside of that game, if Hurts would have played the other 2 games against Dallas and the Saints, we probably would have won those games. So,
right.
we definitely would have beat the Saints because that was a weird game, dude. Gardner Minshew played terrible. And then he played decent against Dallas, but Hurts would have played better. And we didn't really get to see a Dak versus Hurts game last year because
Man,
then
I'm
we
looking
played
forward
Cooper
to
Rush.
that, man. I can't wait. I want
Yeah.
to sweep them so bad. You don't know how bad. You know that Minshew almost beat Dallas. They had to do a comeback against Minshew. Like they had like
That would have been so funny.
it was either they came back or Minshew almost came back and beat Dallas, but they were struggling against Gardner Minshew. So I know for a fact we would have swept the Cowboys. I know that for a fact last year.
Hurts would have played. Yeah, we would have won. Yeah, because they struggle with Minshew, let alone Hurts. So
Dude, if they get swept, I guarantee you that Dak is going to be taken off. He's going to be benched, and they're going to put up dang, what's the kid's name from San Fran they just traded for?
Trey Lance.
Yeah, they're going to put up Trey Lance. If Dak loses to the Eagles twice, he's getting benched, and Trey Lance is playing this year.
Yeah,
for Dallas.
Yeah, because they all talk so much trash when we beat Cooper Rush last year. Like, oh well, Dak wasn't playing, but it's funny. They all wanted Cooper Rush. They said Cooper Rush was going to beat us. He was undefeated until he played us. That's the thing. He was like 4-0. So they're like, oh, he's going to beat us. And that's when he went. Yeah, Cooper Rush. It's funny. They're like, oh, Cooper Rush is so great. I literally knew Cowboys fans that were saying, oh, I don't want Dak back in there. Keep Cooper Rush in. Then he loses to the Eagles. Oh, we didn't have Dak. It's just like it's a lose-lose. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with them.
They're delusional, man.
They
They're
are.
delusional.
And the media does a great job. Like you said, they get these half schedules where they're like, it's believable, like that they can win games, and that's what they do. They draw them in like they're fishing. They fish them in, they reel them in, and then these guys they get delusional every year. This time, like we done boys, it's our year every single year. It's every year. Look at guys like Mark Holmes and like the guys on YouTube. Mark Holmes is a good dude. Like I know this, but it's funny watching these dudes. They get so like the Philly 500. Oh. They're hilarious. Like Mark Holmes all year is like he's like on the hype train. Then you see the videos where the
brother screwed us.
The brother screwed us. The brother. He's like no, and that was their like scapegoat. No. Like when he's like, oh, they didn't have enough time. It's like down at the ref. Like the brother screwed us. Like come on. So that's what they wrote into the offseason with the brother screwed us. Last year they had no excuses for Dak. 2 picks. What are you gonna say?
Dang, man. We're approaching Thursday night football, man, in 20 minutes. Thursday night football will be on. Patrick Mahomes versus the Lions. Who do you got?
I actually think that the Lions might take it because Travis Kelce's not playing, but we'll see. The Lions are actually a good team, man, but I don't know. Like, I might be sounding a little bit biased here, but I think the Lions are going to win it. I do. I think because Travis Kelce and then Chris Jones ain't playing either, right? Yeah, because they didn't re-sign Chris Jones yet. He's still holding out. So that's critical. They don't have Chris Jones on defense and no Travis Kelce tonight. I think that the Chiefs are going to lose. I think it'll be super close, but I think Mahomes is Mahomes. Right. But I think even if they lose, the Chiefs are going to be fine. I think Kelce will be back. I would assume that Chris Jones is eventually they're going to come to a deal with him. I think they'd be stupid.
I might have to change my lineup. I'm just trying to check and see to make sure I don't have Travis Kelce up here.
Yeah, because that was the rumor. He's not playing, I don't think. They said he was going to maybe go out there and test it. But I think that was like when I was listening to sports radio before this, they were saying he's not playing tonight.
All right, cool. It looks like I got – you want to see my lineup for so for my lineup for this Sunday, I got Trevor Lawrence, Jones from the Packers, Green Bay Packers running back Jones, DeAndre Swift, of course, for running back.
There you go.
And I know it's not always the best, but I just think for his first game, he's going to ball out his first game. Right. That's why I put him up there. This is, of course, weekly fantasy on FanDuel. DK Metcalf. I got Devontae Smith and Keenan Allen. At wide receiver, at tight end, I got Kyle Pitts. I actually have at flex, I have Brown, which is the running back Brown from Cincinnati. So that's actually Sidney Brown's brother. I have him as a flex. I think he's gonna and I have Jacksonville Jaguar defense. They're playing against Indianapolis Colts, so that's why I have them. I don't think Richardson is a great quarterback. I don't think he's going to be good this season. I'll be honest with you. I seen his performance at preseason. I seen him doing the Eagles fly in the Eagles end zone against third string players.
Stupid.
It's not there.
Like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, you're a freaking a rook. You coming in here doing that stupid shit, like the freaking bulletin board material. Stupid. Like, this dumb. Like, you never see Jalen Hurts do some shit like that. It's freaking stupid as hell.
Yeah, it's just a clown thing to do in the preseason. I think it's really clown-like behavior by him.
Yeah, it's freaking preseason, man. Like, come on. I could see if you did the playoffs or something like that and you do something like that, or, you're having a great year, but weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited though. I think this week, I think we're gonna carve New England. Like, I think they might maybe the first quarter a little bit to shake the rust off. New defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, but I think the Eagles are gonna be fine. Like, we're too talented for that team. Pending anything crazy happening, I just think both teams play healthy. It's too much. It's just gonna carve them up. I don't care how good Bill Belichick's defense is. It's still not what it used to be. Yeah, and that defense is going to frustrate Mac Jones. That defensive line is going to frustrate him.
Yeah, it's just downhill after Tom Brady. I don't think that team really has quality leadership, especially after Stephen Gilmore leaving off that defense. I think he sees the sun is setting for that franchise in their glory days. I think that, they had a really great run. They really had a historic run.
They were a dynasty.
Yeah, they had a dynasty, and I think it's the end of the dynasty. And I think a lot of players are starting to realize that for New England. I think that eventually, I predict within 3 seasons that Bill Belichick is going to leave New England and go either to another team or retire altogether within 3 seasons. If this thing keeps up in this direction, where I do think that New England is going to get tired of it, and they might either fire him or he might retire or he just might go to another team.
Yeah, he can retire right now and just go down as the greatest because he has the most Super Bowls of any. It's like Phil Jackson in the NBA. You know what I mean? He's got the most Super Bowl rings of any coach. And I don't know if anybody's going to be able to replicate 6 rings. I think it's 6, right? Yeah, Tom Brady had 6 in New England. He got 1 in Tampa. Yeah, that's the thing. And of course, there's always going to be cheating allegations linked to it and everything like that. I don't think the most recent ones were cheating, but I definitely think the first 3 had cheating stuff linked to it for sure. The first 3 they won in the early 2000s.
Yeah, when they played Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship in the Super Bowl that they beat us, there were stories coming out that they were getting Steelers plays from their playbook and that they knew their plays.
Yeah,
by the time they got out on the field for the game, they knew all their plays out at Pittsburgh.
Hollis said that about the Eagles. When we played New England in the Super Bowl, Jim Johnson designed it. Rest in peace, Jim Johnson. One of the GOATs, defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Right.
He had developed this scheme just for when the Eagles reached the Super Bowl. Like, we hadn't reached the Super Bowl at that time since we had played the Raiders in the 80s. But he designed a scheme to, it was only to be used if the Eagles made the Super Bowl. New England knew every play of that scheme. They were picking apart that defense like they knew where they knew where everyone was going to be on the field. And Hollis said, Jim Johnson, they're they know the freaking plays. They know. They knew right away that they knew the plays. They were saying they know them. So that's the thing. And that's coming from a former Philadelphia Eagle. He's been on this podcast before and said that they had developed that scheme specifically for the Super Bowl, and New England knew everything that was coming their way.
Spygate, baby.
Yep, that was definitely. So that's what I'm saying. There's no freaking way that was a coincidence. Then you got the Tuck rule and all that other crap. So, but it is what it is. They're still on paper. They're going to say he won. They can't prove. They never really prove nothing. So he's going to go down probably the best. Unless Andy Reid's definitely up there too, man. Andy Reid up there. He's got to be top 5, top 3, maybe.
Andy Reid's up there, man. Andy Reid, with the work that he did in Philly and the work that he did in KC, winning them their first ever Super Bowl of that franchise's history. I think no. I'm lying. His second Super Bowl, because I think Kansas City has 3 Super Bowls now total.
Yeah, three total. Yeah, I think they got 3 total, and 2 with Andy Reid. Yeah.
Yeah, and so For us, we're trying to catch up and get to that point where we get up to 3. I feel confident that within this particular franchise that we have right here and the leadership that we have in this organization, I'm confident um, that we can win 1 or 2, which is I was actually on Darius Dalton's live stream earlier today. He's another big Eagles YouTube guy. He's based out of California. I think he's an Angels fan. Man, we Phillies beat up on them Angels, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have.
yeah. But I was telling him like on his live stream because I was in the comments, and I was telling him, yeah, man, I think in the Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni era, I think we could get a Super Bowl or 2, and I'll be cool.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think we will. I think with them too, we'll be able to get there. I was gonna say California. Where's Philly 500 based out of? Is it
Philly
California?
500. I think Philly 500 is out there in Jersey. I could be wrong.
Oh, is he really? Huh.
I think he's out there in Jersey, but I think he moved again, and I don't know where he moved to. These guys, I know Lord Brunson is based out of. I think he's out there in Virginia, Lord Brunson, but like the DMV area. But I know for a fact that Lord Brunson is DMV, and I know Darius is Cali, and I know Philly 500. I think he's Jersey. I think so.
He might be.
Yeah.
He has the accent. And it says his wife was a diehard Eagles fan too. She was South Philly born, and that's how they met. Yeah, you might be right, man. He might be local then. He might be Jersey. She's South Philly born, his wife. So yeah, he might be Jersey then. He might be local. He seems like he got a Jersey accent. But I remember EDP was on
nothing about no EDP, bro.
Yeah,
I know he's Cali based. That's that California stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He don't. Yeah, Bakersfield. He don't even deserve the freaking airtime, man. What the fuck, the shit.
He got caught up again with trying to run into a kid again. The second time they caught him red-handed.
Yeah, you gotta protect our fucking kids, man. It's crazy, the people out here. I don't care if you're a freaking 400-pound fat slob, man. Come on, man. Fucking work on yourself and be better. I don't understand the bullshit, dude. Like, it doesn't give you any freaking right to be talking to children, man.
Yeah, what is he doing, man? His card is banished. He is not a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He banished.
Nah, we can't.
He is banished from this fan base.
Yeah, and it's a shame, man. And it's like it's that guy. Like he loved the Eagles, but it's like then you see stupid shit like that. It's like, dude, we can't associate with you no more, man. It's a wrap.
Facts, bro.
We can't associate. But he was I was thinking California. I was thinking of because he was from California. He was an Eagles fan. I'm not sure how he became one, but Philly 500.
His parents is Philly based. His parents might be yeah, man.
I'm excited, man. Well, we're gonna see each other this Saturday, man. So I'm sure we'll have more to talk about this, man. And then the next day, dude, on Sunday we got the Birds. That's the opener. Dude, short week too, man. Short week, man. Because, dude, we got the Eagles on Sunday, and then they play the home opener on that Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm thinking about actually doing a live stream that day. I might sit in on Chat Sports Philly or Philly 500 live stream, but I might do my own live stream. So I'll let you know ahead of time. Like, I'm gonna get some ideas from the guys and see if I should do my own live stream during the Eagles game, and have you guys jump in or you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm trying to get hype on this thing, man. I'm really trying to get this channel moving with these live streams, man. So during the season's the best time to do it, man. Like, that's really what inspired me to do my channel, because I was watching these guys from 2021. I watched the successful marketing of the Hurts season hats, successful marketing of Jalen Hurts merchandise. And now I was like, man, these guys are really making a killing, just like really just talking about their perspectives. So it really inspired me. My YouTube channel has been around, but like I never really started making content seriously until maybe a year ago. Like, so like for me, like my YouTube channel is really new, and I'm working on getting it better every day. I changed some things on the channel, and did some edits and some customizations to make the channel better. And I'm always ready to hear everybody's input and perspective. So if anyone's watching here now, or if you watch this later, what have you, I will be putting this on the channel. Go ahead, follow Rich and Me on YouTube. Go ahead, follow the Locked In podcast on YouTube as well, and on Facebook.
I was gonna say, Rich's channel name is literally right below his screen right there, Rich M Media. So guys, check out check out his tag for all of if you guys want to see Eagles content. Rich has Eagles content all on his Rich M Media channel. That's primarily what Rich talks about on there. So guys, check him out. Yeah, now he's over 1,000. What are you at? 1.3K subscribers, getting up there.
1.37, Doug. I'm almost at 1.4K. I'm really on the road to 2K subscribers, man. I'm really trying to do this thing, really trying to get it going, do some collabs, get us all kind of in the mix with Eagles players, and I just have some good things moving for the channel. And of course, Locked In Podcast is a part of that plan as well. And I just want to continue to collaborate and keep this thing rolling, man. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah, likewise, man. Yeah, and that's part of our growth too. Obviously, we're here to collab, man, and we want to help you grow too. So, likewise, man. So I was gonna say, man, a stream for like the home opener might not be bad. There's a tailgate going on. It's been circulating on Facebook. The Birds Herd tailgate crew is having a thing. I think it's open. It's open to everybody. It's lot N8. They're having a thing next week for the home opener. It's $50, all you can eat, man. They have all you can eat and all you can drink at the tailgate lot. It's open to anybody who wants to come in. They have an open tailgate going on. So if you guys are watching and you guys want to join, you guys can actually check out my Facebook, and I have it shared on there. So it's like a whole open thing going on down at the lot N8 with the Phillies with the Birds Herd tailgate crew. Yeah, it looks like they got a pretty good food menu, and then they got a whole drink selection, so you guys can go down and hang out for the opener if you're around. A lot of time to plan. That's a week away, so.
Hey, well, listen, bro. I'm about to go ahead and watch this Chiefs and Lions game, dog.
Same, man. Gonna grab something light to eat, man. I'll watch some of the game. I probably watch the whole thing. Hit the head a little early, but I'll try to. Unless the game's interesting. If the game's interesting, I might. It might kind of reel me in, but. I'm just excited to have football back, man.
Hey, week 1, baby. Let's kick it.
Let's get it, man. Well, thank you for coming on tonight, man. I appreciate you. Guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you back from next week for episode 142 on Thursday. Go Birds, and let's get it, man.
Let's get it.
All right, man. Take care, brother. I'll see you Saturday, man. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Take care.